Welcome, good sir. Okay. Alrighty, I think we are live. Yeah, I think so. Awesome. Yeah, my Wi-Fi was actually acting up a little bit, so Satoshi Nakamoto in the house. Jamishi Nakamoto. Divinamoto. All right, guys, welcome to tonight's call. Excited to share this beautiful gift that is Divine Fi. Welcome, whether you're here on Zoom or Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube or any of the other platforms that we stream on every single day, twice a day. We're here like clockwork. And yeah, super excited to be here with you all. I want to figure out where you guys are calling in from. So if you could please in the chat below, just drop your state, your city, your country in the chat, just so we can figure out and have a better idea of where you guys are all located currently. I think it was the day before yesterday, we just entered our 17th country. We just entered El Salvador. It's amazing how far we are able to reach, and it's only 1 month in. Literally only a month into this launch. We're in Australia. Oh, speaking of Australia, Brisbane, Queensland, Australia in the house. We're in New Zealand. We're in Japan. We're in Singapore. Bitcoin City, El Salvador. Awesome. We're in the Philippines, we're in the UAE, we're in Malta, we are in Greece, Austria, the UK,
Fiji.
Fiji, Tonga. Are we in Tonga yet?
Toga, yeah.
Yeah, we're
Toga.
in Canada, Vancouver in the house. We are in the US, Mexico. I can't even keep up at this point. Pretty soon, you guys get the idea. We're gonna be global in every single country. So it's really amazing how technology is able to connect us here all over the world with all the amazing, beautiful souls just really wanting to share this mission with the world. And that's essentially what it is. It's all about connecting, get the right opportunities, the right people all together. And with that being said, I'm going to share a little bit of a little video. So if this is your first time watching this, you get a little sneak peek, just a tiny bit. And then if it piques your interest, stay around and we'll explain to you what we're working here at Divine Fi. So with that being said, just sit back and relax for the next 55 seconds.
Do you ever feel like you're not reaching your full potential? Like you're stuck in a rut, both personally and professionally? Imagine a life where you wake up every day excited with true freedom. You're living in abundance and experiencing the power of AI technology for financial freedom. Welcome to Divinfi. We're here to guide you on a journey of instant transformation to the highest state of consciousness while using AI to eliminate financial stress. You've heard of self-driving cars, but have you heard of self-growing bank accounts? At Divinfi, it's not just about working hard. It's about transforming your entire life and accessing your infinite potential. Join a community of true freedom and fulfillment. Get back to the person who shared this video with you for more information. Welcome to Divinfi, Consciousness and Currency.
Awesome. So from myself and from the entire Divine Fi team, we welcome you to the biggest launch in history. So I'm going to get into it. What is Divine Fi? What is our mission? What are we here to do? Just give me a moment to share my screen. And I'm going to explain what we are doing here and why I made this crazy big statement, right? The biggest launch in history. So one moment. Okay, so our vision is to create an ecosystem that brings freedom to all 8 billion people here on Earth. And what that means and what that entails is financial freedom, location freedom, time freedom, and most importantly, the emotional freedom to really be able to sustain and hold all of that. Because, it was only about 12 years ago I got started in this industry of entrepreneurship. Well, not this industry, but in the entrepreneurship journey. And since then, I've been in many different industries. But at 18, I got into the car exporting business and I started to buy cars all over the US and ship them out to places like Dubai, where we are today, and places like Saudi Arabia, Cambodia, Dominican Republic, and all these different places. And I earned my first six-figure income at the age of 18, which was astronomical at that time. I didn't have a formal education or anything like that. I just knew the right people, and that's why I started this with saying it's all about the connections, right? It's really all about connections. You're on this call right now because of somebody you know, right? Or somebody's Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever that you're watching because you know them. So it's all about connections, right? So I heard this a long time ago. It's not about what you know. It is all about who you know. And that's how I got introduced to that industry. And basically, when I was younger, I didn't really think about being an astronaut or being a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. I just wanted to be free. I didn't really know what that meant, but I knew I wanted to be free. I hated being in school. That was like probably the worst part of my day. I loved recess. I love PE, right? And when I got to 18 and I started making six figures a year, I thought that was going to solve all of my problems. But then pretty soon I realized that that wasn't the answer, right? It was one key, but it wasn't the whole pie. And so I started to understand that that wasn't it because I was working 80 hours a week and I was driving all over the US. So I didn't have the time freedom to do what I wanted, and I did not have the location freedom as well. I had to be in certain places. And so I got introduced to this man. He was a couple of years older than me at the time. And he was living like this big movie star lifestyle. And, I heard this a long time ago that if you want to have the results that somebody has, then take their advice. Right. So I really started to be very selective about who I would take, whose advice I would take. Right. Only if you had the life I wanted, then I would take her advice. That's just kind of how I went. And so he was flying on these private jets. He had like the three supercars and all these things. And so I ended up taking his advice. He started mentoring me, and I got introduced to the industry of network marketing. Um, and so that was the very beginning. And since then, I got into affiliate marketing, direct sales, e-commerce, trading, um, coaching, rental arbitrage, all these different industries. And I was able to earn millions and millions of dollars. I was able to go and travel to 25 different countries before the age of 30. I was able to help many, many people, dozens and dozens of people earn over six-figure income. And so, but I started to realize this back in the second half of 2023, right? In June 2023, I was married at the time, and I decided to take my wife and I, we had our business back in the States. It was just running on autopilot, and we're like, okay, let's go travel. So we went to East Asia, we went to Japan, we went all over Southeast Asia, like Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, like all these different places. And I started to realize that financial freedom, location freedom, and time freedom wasn't the only thing. There was something else that was missing. And it became apparent when I started waking up every day with crazy anxiety, depression, panic attacks. And the funny thing is like I would wake up in the morning, I wasn't able to breathe. I was not able to breathe. And at the time, I was also teaching my teams how to break free by using breathwork, which is not a bad thing. And but I'll tell you why it's so limiting, right? And so it got to a point where I was having these panic attacks every single morning, throughout the day, and it started to really affect me to the point where I started to have suicidal thoughts. I got to um this is just crazy to even think about because it's like, wow, it feels like a lifetime ago. Um, yeah, it just reminds me because it's like I know that there are people out there that are probably struggling with something similar. But I remember being on the 48th floor of the penthouse that I was staying at, and I was literally thinking about ending my own life. And so I knew that things had to change. I knew that something had to change. And humans were so interesting. We are very interesting creatures, at least whenever you identify as human, and that's a whole other story. So, we're usually motivated by two things, either by inspiration, being inspired by something in our lives to create and to help the world, or by desperation, by really getting to a point where you have no other option. And at that point in my life, I was inspired by desperation, or I was motivated by desperation. So after that moment in Kuala Lumpur, it had to get worse for me. I still wasn't able to make the change I needed to make. And so I actually went through a divorce to a woman I was married to for 4 years. That was pretty disheartening and heartbreaking, to say the least. And then um, I went to jail in Bali, Indonesia. I actually ended up staying in that jail for 6 days, went to a rehab facility for 17 days because even though I had done and read thousands of books on personal development over the last 10 years, I did the leadership workshops and the transformational workshops, the energy work, all of these different things. I still relied and abused substances like marijuana, which I smoked every single day for 12 years. Like, it just boggles my mind that like I said, that literally feels like another person. And so I ended up going to jail and went to rehab and all this stuff. And they made me pay them $50,000 just to get out of that situation. And so after I got out, Mr. Jamie Devine, aka Satoshi Nakamoto, just kidding. He um he actually messaged me and we talked and all the stuff, and he called me and he was like, hey, because I was like talking about going back to Thailand. He's like, bro, don't go to Thailand. It's for degenerates. So he's like, you need to come to the Philippines, okay? You need to come to the Philippines and you need to meet this guy right here, Mr. Don Smith. So Don is a Jedi, okay? He's just on a whole other level, okay? He's been creating this transformational program for the last 44 years, and he's used it with his clients, right? So some of his clients were like the elite of the elite, right? Like I'll name a couple of them. For example, like the top athletes at an Olympic level in 15 different sports. He's worked with 8 billionaires. He's worked with the guys that created the BlackBerry. He helped actually, he worked with 60 plus of their C-class executives, and he helped take the company from $6 billion to $68 billion. And so he helped them 10x a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So Don had been working with these kind of clients, and after he lost, oh, and he also worked with many, many people that were having crazy terminal illnesses like cancer and all of these crazy things. I remember one of them that really uh just shook me was that this guy, I just remember him saying this, is like this guy had a really bad I think it was a crazy stutter and a tick or something. And this guy was doing a podcast. He said that after he'd done the 2 hour session with him, like his tick and stutter completely went away. And so like he had worked with all different kinds of people. And so about 5 years ago, Jamie and Dawn actually ended up connecting, and Jamie had this crazy transformation. I remember seeing him online. And so I think it was actually 4 years ago. And I was like, wow, this guy's like looks so different. And they ended up actually going to like 170 plus cities all around the world, literally giving away this process away to people which some of Don's clients paid him up to $1 million, right? Like imagine someone paying you $1 million for a 2-hour session, and then now you're just traveling around the world, just literally giving it away for free. So this is what Don was doing. And so I actually ended up working with Don. And it had been the most mind-blowing experience. I cannot even put it into words. And it shifted everything for me. All the anxiety, depression, panic attacks, suicidal thoughts completely gone. All the addictions, addicted to marijuana for 12 years, addicted to sex. I remember having multiple girlfriends at one time. All that was gone. The money, the travel, the addiction to those things, the people pleasing, the validation, completely gone. Right? I realized that all of that was outside of me and that my worth was inherent. And just life completely shifted. I mean, my corporate leasing business started to do even better than before, all thanks to this process, which only took 2 hours. And so let me explain to you what happens with a little bit more, some graphics to bring it all together. So there's this chart right here. It's called the chart of consciousness. So it was created by a guy named Dr. David Robert Hawkins. He wrote a book called Power versus Force, which is absolutely amazing. You should definitely give it a read. But what he says is there's this scale. It goes from 0 to 1,000, and it basically measures our emotions, or I should say the emotions, because you are not your emotions. They are just things that you experience. And so at the very bottom of this scale is shame, which vibrates at a level 20. Consciousness, calibration, frequency, vibration. You can use these words interchangeably, doesn't matter. And then there's fear, which is at 100. Courage is 200. And then at the very highest levels is enlightenment, which is 700 to 1,000. So a guy named Hitler, right? He was, in history, probably one of the worst people that we know of. And he was at a level 50 consciousness, and we know what he did. And I know that the reason why he did the things that he did was because of the level of consciousness that he was at. And then when you take a look at the highest levels, enlightenment, all of the great teachers, whether it's Jesus, Moses, Buddha, Muhammad, Zoroaster, all of these great teachers were actually at a level 700 to 1,000, actually at a level 1,000. Okay, and so what they were preaching and what their message, their ultimate message was to us was that enlightenment is our natural state. It is you and I's natural state of being. The only reason we're not experiencing it is because there was one moment in time before the age of 7, before the age of reason, where our subconscious mind was wide open. And this is science. You can go look into this. Our subconscious mind is wide open. And there was an experience that shocked us and is keeping us in this lower levels of consciousness. Okay, so over 80% of people are all under the level 210. So they're under this line. And I would say most people are actually operating at a level 100, which is fear. Fear of abandonment, fear of losing their job, fear of losing their loved ones, fear of losing their life. They operate their entire life off of fear, which is just an illusion, right? Fear is there's an acronym for fear. It says false evidence appearing real. And that's literally what it is, because it's most of the time what fear is just worrying about something that's never going to happen. And so how many people operate from this level of consciousness, never chasing their dreams, never going after the things they really want, never loving the people that they want to love because of fear of whatever might happen. And, this is the interesting thing, is that whenever you take a look at it, your body, which, the biggest one is the fear of death, is similar to a car, right? So if you hop in a car, you don't think and you don't identify yourself with the car. You don't ever think that I am a car. Yeah, I am the car that I'm. You are driving the car, and similarly, your body is just the vehicle that you're in this lifetime, and the consciousness is driving it. So we are eternal beings, and enlightenment is our natural state. I mean, just think about if you've ever seen a baby being born, all the joy and love and all the the amazing positivity that comes into that room when that baby is born. Because of that, that's the natural state of that baby, and that is your natural state. So what happens is Dawn helps you get to the very first moment in your life where you had this traumatic experience. And by traumatic, it doesn't have to be physical abuse or sexual abuse or whatever. It can simply be you being on a bike, falling off, or you just getting scared. It doesn't have to be something crazy. Okay. So he helps you get to that moment and release it. So imagine being at some level in the ocean and you have an anchor. You have an anchor tied to you, and you're trying to swim to the top of the ocean, which is enlightenment. The top is enlightenment. And every single time you try to you swim, you get brought back down. You go 30% up, the anchor brings you back down. 30% up, the anchor brings you back down. So the thing is, Dawn's process helps you eliminate and get rid of that energetic anchor that is having you play small. And then you are able to actually step into your infinite energy, your infinite God energy, and you start to be at the right place at the right time with the right people, attracting the right opportunities. Literally, synchronicities are everywhere. Your life becomes magical. And so this is what we offer you with Dawn's program. Dawn is actually has 2 classes a week. The first one is for Tuesdays for brand new people that have never experienced this, and the Thursdays are for people that have already gone through it one time. And so if you've already gone through it, make sure that you are attending. We have Dawn's class this and like what time is it? So it's 7:30 over here. So in like 10 hours or so, a little bit over 10 hours. I'm not that good at math. 5 a.m. Dubai time. We're going to have Dawn doing it for the people that have already gone through it. And so you want to make sure that you're around and you're there fully ready to experience this amazing transformation. So our ecosystem, Divinfi, is composed of 2 parts. So there's a consciousness part, which is going through Dawn's transformation. And then there's a currency part, which I'm going to talk about next. So in the video that we played at the very beginning, it talked about how people nowadays trust AI so much that they're willing to take their hands off of the steering wheel and let AI drive them, right? With Tesla, that has AI, AR, and people literally trust it to drive them to and from work or to and from wherever they want to go. Okay. So now we have self-growing bank accounts by utilizing AI. So we have our AI called Apollo, and it's doing 20 to 50% returns per month. This is the range that we've seen it have been doing over the last couple of years. The average has been about 28%. And Apollo simply connects into your current cryptocurrency exchange, either Binance, Bybit, or Kraken. We're trying to get Coinbase on the onboarded right now. And so it's just a simple API, which just means a connection into your account where it can view the funds that you have in there. It can trade it, but it cannot withdraw. And so we have our onboarding team where you can get onboarded if you've not gone onboarded yet. They'll help you do everything. There's nothing you need to know. You just follow a simple 10, 15-minute system that they will walk you through. And then we'll get you onboarded to Apollo. And so let's do some numbers and kind of give you some what this could look like. So when we met this developer here in Dubai at the Crypto Expo, the minimum deposit that you needed to utilize this AI was $100,000 US. 100,000. So we asked him to bring it down, and he brought it down to 10,000 US. We're like, that's not going to work. So he ended up bringing it down to $1,000 US minimum deposit. And the caveat is that there's a split, a 50-50 split between you and the developer. So let's say you did the minimum, which is 1,000 US, doing 20% in the month. So 1,000 times 20%, that's $200 profit. If you have to split it in 50-50, you get 100, the developer gets 100. You are required to send him the money sometime between the 20th of every month and the 25th of every month. So when you go through the onboarding, they'll give you the details on how to actually send it off. But like I said, you have full control of the funds. Nobody has control of the funds. And one of my friends was like, well, what if I don't pay him? If you don't pay, that's fine, but you're just not going to get access to the API. It's as simple as that. So just to wrap this part up, past performances are not indicative of future results. Just because it's done 51% in the last like 4 weeks, less than 4 weeks, does not mean that it's always going to do those numbers. Could it do less than 20%? Sure. Could it do more than 50%? Yes. There's been months where it did 70, 80%. So it really just depends, right? And it does have machine learning, and so it gets better and smarter over time. So, this is the best one that we've found to date. And so I'm going to talk to you guys about the power of compounding, right? This guy right here, Albert Einstein, talked about compounding. He said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. So I'm going to show you the power of compounding in just a moment and how you can actually use this. And I want you to think about this AI as a savings account, because nowadays, no matter where you're living, right? If you're in Australia, if you're in Europe, if you are in the Middle East or Asia or the US, it does not matter. Everywhere is experiencing inflation at a very alarming rate. The US, which is the currency, the US dollar is a currency which every other currency is pegged to, is losing about 1% in purchasing power every single month. I actually just saw that the inflation is getting even worse. I literally just read that just maybe like 30 minutes ago. And so 1%, let's say minimum 1% a month that it's losing, over a year, that's 12% lost. So I'm sure you guys have seen it, right? You go to your local grocery store or your supermarket, you're trying to purchase goods and you're like, why is the eggs higher? Why is the milk higher? Why is so and so higher? It's not that the products are being raised, it's that the money that is being printed is no longer worth as much as it once was. You can't purchase as many things, as many goods and services. So having your money in a savings account is probably the worst thing you could do. So I want you to think of Apollo as a savings account on steroids. Okay, so let's say you started with $1,000 investment and you did the minimum. Let's say 20%, and then after the split, which was 10%. So 10% monthly. And let's say you did it for 5 years, okay? And you compounded that money for 5 years. You can take the money out if you want to, but I would recommend compounding it. But if you needed it or whatever, you have full control. You can take it out at any time. So $1,000 initial balance, it would take you 8 months to 2x your investment, meaning for it to go from $1,000 US to $2,000 US, it would take you 8 months. Okay, very simple. Now, after 5 years, if you kept compounding, it would have $304,481.64. Absolutely amazing. I'm not saying this is going to happen for sure, but with these numbers, it can very much happen if you are compounding and you're using this as a compounding vehicle. So let's get into the next part, which is how to be an entrepreneur and an investor and the differences between these 4 quadrants. So this guy, Robert Kiyosaki, wrote a couple of books. The first one was called Rich Dad Poor Dad. The second one was called The Cash Flow Quadrant. And the third one was called The Business of the 21st Century. Highly recommend all 3. So in the cash flow quadrant, he talks about there are 4 ways to earn income. Okay, so there's the E, which is employee. And so this is when you have a job, a job. Okay, I heard this a while ago that a job just stands for just over broke. And if I can remember correctly, when I was working a job, I was barely afloat. I always had way more month at the end of the money, right? I wasn't the best at managing my money, that's for sure. But I know for a fact that I just wasn't getting paid enough, because that's what they do. They pay you just enough for you to stay, but not enough for you to ever leave. And if you love your job, great, that's awesome. But someone has to tell you the truth that really a job, what it is, in the most simplest, the most frank terms, it's the modern day slavery. That's what it is. They abolished the actual whips and chains, and they put this these invisible chains around you, and they pay you just enough for you to continue to work, but not enough for you to ever get your freedom. So I want you to think about that, right? Because if you feel like you have to be there and you're not out of there because you want to, what do you call that? I'm sorry to say, but that's slavery. So as a job, as an employee, right? Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this. There's something called etymology, so it means like the meanings of words, and words have meaning. One of the so in the Hebrew language, a job actually means to persecute. So just think think about that, right? So as an employee, let's say you're working for a smoothie shop, right? You work 8 hours, you get paid 8 hours. Okay. So you're trading your time for money, and these two quadrants right here on the left side, they get paid off of time and effort. So you have to be there to earn income. So let's say one day you're like, okay, I want to own the smoothie shop. So you go and open up your own smoothie shop down the street. You become a self-employed business owner. And so what happens is you no longer have a job, but you actually own a job. All right, you might have a couple of employees here and there, but you're the lifeblood of the business. If you're no longer there, guess what? You and your business will no longer be around for very long. You can't just take 4 or 5 months off and expect it to be there. Okay, so you have to be there. Now, shifting to the right side of the quadrant, there's the big business owners. So you could think of this as like a McDonald's, right? They have systems in place, and a system is an acronym for save yourself some time, energy, money. Save yourself some time, energy, and money. So Ray Kroc, he bought McDonald's from the McDonald's brothers, and he created this whole system and the franchise system and all that stuff, right? So he said that we don't sell burgers and fries, we sell real estate. That's how they get paid. They get paid off of the franchise fees, right? It takes $1.2 million to buy and to franchise a McDonald's. But they have a whole system in place, and that's why a 16, 17-year-old kid can run the whole place, because there's a system in place on how to get the fries golden brown, how to get the patties the right way, how to mop the floor, to wash the dishes. Every single thing has a system. So that way you know it's going to cash flow for you on whatever month. Okay, you're going to start profiting on this month. Okay, so that's why people do it, right? It's because there's a whole system, and it's like a plan to make sure that you're going to make money and you can actually hire the employees and you can walk away. Okay, so that's how the business owners get paid. And another example is for example, like a Elon Musk, right? So let's say he has 10,000 employees, and each of those employees work 8 hours in a day. So if you take the amount of employees times the hours that they work, that's 10,000 times 8, that's 80,000 man hours that he's leveraging. And that's why he's a multi-billionaire, one of the richest men in the world, at least in the public eye. And yeah, so that's a business owner. Now, as an investor, you're also leveraging, but you're not leveraging people, you're leveraging your money. So we're going to show you in our system, in our ecosystem, how to leverage a system and then also leverage your money. With Apollo, you can leverage your money. I mean, that back in the day, it took you, in the New York Stock Exchange, if you wanted to invest in the New York Stock Exchange, it would be over $1 million at one point. And then they brought it down dramatically over time. And then the everyday person could invest. And then, I remember like 7, 8 years ago, I had a mentor. He was from Singapore. He ran a hedge fund that had billions and billions of dollars. And I asked him to teach me how to trade. I said, hey, like, you obviously know how to trade. You're doing big things. Can you please teach me And he said, if you have $100,000 that you're willing to lose, then I'll teach you. And so nowadays, you can actually start to become an investor. Like, I mean, even here with Apollo, right? Like, you don't necessarily need to know what you're investing in, but you can start to become an investor with a minimum of $1,000 US, which is absolutely amazing. And this is the power of technology. So let's talk a little bit more and how you can actually get your freedom. So we have our freedom pack. You get access to Don's priceless transformation. You get access to Apollo for only $149 startup one time, and then $99 per month. When you get these amazing results from Don's process and Apollo, and you get excited, you're going to obviously want to share them with people. So if you share it with 3 people, let's say your mom, your dad, your brother, well, you're going to get your membership for free. So refer 3 and your membership is for free. So let's talk about the partnership program. Okay, so this is, let's say you don't want to just be a customer, you want to build a business, you want to have leverage, you want to create residual income. Well, we're in the industry of network marketing, which I believe is the most amazing industry. And Robert Kiyosaki's third book, The Business of the 21st Century, was written all about network marketing. It was written all about network marketing and how this is going to be the business of the 21st century. This is the future. And so, simply put, what network marketing is, instead of paying millions and millions and millions of dollars to the traditional forms of marketing, which is putting it into a magazine or newspaper, TV commercials, billboards, advertisements, stuff like that, what we do is we take 80 up to 80% of the profits of the company and we pay people like you and I to spread it via word of mouth. Okay, so it's very simple. And through this model, you have an ability to earn an infinite income potential. So you can earn anywhere from $100 a month all the way to $4 million every single month, which is absolutely amazing. You know, you can literally get paid more than the highest level CEOs in the world through this ecosystem. Secondly, you can earn a weekly residual income. So I have a company in the real estate industry. Okay, so we get paid technically like passive residual income, right? We set up the system one time and we get paid over and over again. So I'll give you an example on how you can create residual income. So if you wanted to buy a home, let's say in the US, it would take you $250,000 US to earn $500 in residual income. And what residual income is just doing the work one time and getting paid for the work over and over and over and over again. So if you leverage 250, let's say your mortgage was $1,500 a month, and then you found someone to rent your home for $2,000 a month. So you would be making $500 every single month, just as long as you use paying the rent. But you're also responsible for when the roof needs to be replaced, the door, someone breaks in, or the toilet, or whatever, right? So I'll show you an even better way on how to create residual income. The third thing is that there are no qualifications or experiences needed. Okay, it does not matter what your past was. It does not matter what school you went to, what your resume looks like, what family, what your background is, what your ethnicity, what the color of your skin is, what language you speak. This industry rewards you for bringing value. And it doesn't matter, like I said, what your past looked like. It doesn't matter if you failed a billion times. It doesn't matter if you dropped out of high school or college. In fact, I didn't finish college. I dropped out my second year. I was like, this isn't for me. And I ended up just going into the car business. And so, you know, you didn't have to go to Yale and you could have went to jail just like I did. Okay. So I'm not like a convicted felon or whatever, but even if you were a convicted felon, this industry still pays you the same. It just rewards you for bringing value to the ecosystem. And so the last thing is that there are team building incentives. And so you're in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself. You have a whole community, a whole ecosystem that's here to support you. You know, like for example, Tui, he's one of our leaders out in Australia. He had a team for himself and his team. And so he asked me to support him. I was on that call. And so we're here. The way that the system works is a win-win-win. And so something that Zig Ziglar said a long time ago, what he said was that if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get every single thing that you want. And that's what the system is. I know that this is the very best industry to be in. And we have, my knowing is that this is the very best ecosystem inside of this industry. So we're excited to have you guys. And let's get into the partnership program and how you can earn a residual income with our amazing plan by sharing our amazing products. So the rank name, I'm going to explain some qualifications. So the rank name is your corporate role, right? That's the easiest way to understand it. And then there's a network size. This would be like the size of your network that you've created. And so it doesn't matter what business, if you ask any business owner, you get paid off of your network, your client network of clients, right? So even if, let's say you have a family doctor, they have a couple of however many clients, right? They have clients that visit them every couple of months. They pay them, and that's how they get paid. If you have a fitness coach, he has a network of clients that he creates fitness plans, does workout plans for, so on and so forth, right? So every single business creates a network of clients. Now, the third qualification is that the personal referrals. So this is the people that you personally refer to the system. So these are the three qualifications. Now there's three ways to get paid. This one right here should say weekly payout. As you can see right here, weekly payout. Where we still haven't gotten this fixed from our graphic designer, so we'll get that fixed soon. And then there's a one-time rank bonus, which gets paid at the end of the month. This one gets paid every Friday. This one gets paid at the end of the month. And then we have our direct bonus, which gets paid at the end of the month. It's normally $50 per membership, but until we're done with pre-launch, we're going to be giving you amazing people a double up bonus. So you get $100 instead of 50 for every single person you directly refer. So if you want to hit the rank of inviter, the way you hit inviter is you have to have a network size of 3 people, 2 on your left team, 1 on your right. And for the personal referrals, you need 1 on your left, 1 on your right. So let's say you refer your mom on your left leg, your dad on your right. Your dad goes out and gets his brother. Now you have 3 total, 2 on your left, 1 on your right, or 2 on your right, 1 on your left. Doesn't matter. And you're getting paid $25 a week, which is $100 a month. And then you also, don't forget, get paid for every single person you personally refer. You get $100 per person you personally refer. So that's 100 plus 100 after the month's over. That is $300. If you did this in your first month, that's $300 that you earned through our ecosystem. Awesome. Now, connect to 200. To hit connect to 200, all you're going to do is you're going to focus on your people and make sure that they hit inviter. This is the building block of the entire plan. And so, Rome was built 1 brick at a time. Focus on your people, make sure that they hit inviter, and, you'll end up ranking up as well. So connect to 200, you have your mom, your dad, you help them hit inviter. Now you have 4 on your left, 4 on your right. You're earning $50 a week, which is $200 a month. And then you get a one-time bonus of $200. Awesome. Same thing. You're going to help your people. Your mom and your dad are going to help their people. And then once you have 10 on your left, 10 on your right, only 2 come from you. The same 2, you're getting paid $125 a week, which is $500 a month. And then you get a one-time bonus of $500 one time. So if you remember, I said it took you $250,000 to earn $500 in residual income. Well, you just did that, and all you did was refer to, and so on and so forth. And now you're at $500 in residual income. So which one's easier? Which one's simpler? I'll definitely tell you that this is a lot easier than leveraging $250,000 and then having to take care of a home. Okay. Now, also, if you wanted to get into the AI and you didn't have the money, now you do. $500 after the month's over with the weekly residual. And then you got a $500 bonus. That's the $1,000. Take that, throw into Apollo. You're getting paid off of the plan. You're getting paid off of Apollo. Amazing. You're both in the business owner and also in the investor quadrants now. Now, same thing, as you can tell, it just starts to duplicate. So it goes from 10 on your left to 20 on your left, 10 on your right to 20 on your right. And you can actually hit all the way to the connector 900 with only 2 you personally refer. So same 2, you're helping them get to Inviter, they help their people, so on and so forth. And now you're earning $225 a week, which is $900 a month. And then you get paid a one-time rank bonus of $900. Awesome. Now, connector 1500, there's one difference. Even though it does double from 20 to 40, 20 to 40, now you need to bring 2 more in. So you need 2 on your left team, 2 on your right team that you personally refer. So let's say it was first your mom and your dad, then you bring in your brother and your sister. You have 4 total. And now you're getting paid $375 a week, which is $1,500 a month. And then you get a one-time bonus of $1,500 one time. Awesome. Now, networker 3K, 75 on your left, 75 on your right. Same for your mom, dad, brother, sister. You're getting paid $750 a week, which is $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month, so on and so forth. So you can play part-time here, earning $500 a month. You can play full-time, earning $9,000 a month, or you can play big time, earning 25, 50, 75, $100,000 every single month. Okay, so there's a fourth way you get paid, and it's at speaker 25K. Okay, it's called the global pool bonus. And so what we do is we take 1% of all global sales, and then we put it into a pool, and then it's split evenly amongst the number of shares that there are. And so you get one share from speaker 25K and beyond. And so let's say there's 10 shares at $1 million in the pool divided by 10 shares. That's $100,000 per share. So at speaker 25K, you would earn an extra 100,000 on top of the 25K that you're already earning. Absolutely awesome. And then at master 750K and beyond, you get a second share. So if you got 100,000 on one share, you'd get 100,000 times 2. So you get an extra 200,000 on top of the 750 million, 2 million, $4 million every single month. So I know you're probably like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do it. Because I remember when I first got into the industry, it was a little bit overwhelming, I'm not going to lie. But I have 2 things to share with you. Number one, this is why Don's process is so important. Okay, it's so important that you go through Don's process so you can eliminate the fear and you can step into your infinite power knowing that you can do anything that you can create anything that you want in your life. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I'll share with you an example. I had this girl, her name is Tiffany. She was in my one of my businesses that I did about 8 years ago in a company nowhere near as amazing as this. We sold blueberry juice. Okay, it was a blueberry juice in this fancy bottle. Okay, I don't know how that was going to change anyone's life, but that's what we sold. And it was 6 times more investment to get started with that company. But at the time, she was a waitress earning $2,000 a month, maybe less, right? Because it fluctuates as a waitress. And so she knew she had to change things in her life. And so she ended up joining the business. And she's like, there's only one problem, Sam. I'm not that extroverted. Like I can't do the presentation. So I told her, look, Tiffany, you don't have to do all of that. All you need to do is plug in and invite people to the presentation. Get the butts in the seats and allow the system to work for you. So that's exactly what she did. And after 3 months, she went from earning $2,000 a month or less at her job to earning over $15,000 every single month. And I believe her highest month was about 21,000. So not only did she do it, her mom did as well. Her mom was working at a warehouse. She started earning over $10,000 a month. Her uncle barely came from Vietnam, and he ended up earning over $10,000 every single month. And so I share that with you to say, if they could do it, then you can do it. All you need to do is leverage the system, invite. We are doing these twice a day. You just need to invite to the presentations, allow people to get educated, to see what we're doing. And when they get started, you get the reward. Okay. So we have some awesome tools. We have those 2 videos. We have a funnel that's being created. So we have some awesome things in the works. You guys are at the very, very beginning of this. And so it really is amazing that you are seeing this right now, because we're in pre-launch. So we're in a ground floor opportunity, which really gives you a huge advantage. And I'll tell you why. When it comes to business, and even though I don't consider this a business, I consider this a self-sustaining ecosystem that's rewarding people that are bringing value. It does have a business element, so it does apply. When it comes to business, it is all about timing, timing, timing. Okay, if you took all the money, like let's say you had bought every single iPhone since the day they started producing iPhones, that'd be $20,000. But you're just a consumer, right? But if you took that and you invested in the stock when it first launched, today in 2024, you would have 200 plus million dollars. And why is that? It's because you invested at the right time. So right here with Divinfi, you have that same level of opportunity to be a part of something that, not that I believe, but that I know is going to be $1 trillion ecosystem, changing the structure of the world and giving people freedom. So if you're ready to get started, just know that it's more than just a financial system. It's a movement towards financial freedom and personal empowerment. Get back to the person that invited you. Ask them for their unique link, so that way they get credit, and then we can get you onboarded, get you going the next couple of steps. So join us today, and I'm going to announce a couple more things, just 2 promotions of some ways that you can win some awesome prizes. So just give me a moment. I'm going to share my screen to another presentation. Okay. Alrighty. So last 2 things. So we are giving away some awesome prizes. It does not matter how many people qualify. If you hit these qualifications before August the 18th, we are giving some awesome prizes. So if you hit 10 directs, 10 people you directly bring into the system, you get a brand new GoPro. If you hit 20 directly in the system, you bring 20 directly, you get a brand new iPhone. If you bring 30 directly, you get a brand new MacBook. Okay, doesn't matter how many hit it. So the last promotion is we're giving away some flights and some some hotels. So if you hit connector 1500 before August the 18th, you get a 3-day, 2-night stay at the hotel that we're having our event at. And if you hit connector 3000, we're going to do an all-inclusive. So we're going to take care of your flight, your hotel, and then VIP access to the event. And so if you want to stay connected with all things Divinfi, scan this QR code. I suggest following us on Telegram, Facebook, Instagram. Those are probably the most important ones. And that way you can just stay in the loop. And with that being said, I'll open it up for any questions so we can answer and make sure that you have all the information to make a informed decision. So any questions? And like I said, let's make sure that we are bringing guests on every single time, at least 1 guest per call. That way, because if you just think about the numbers, it's just really just exposing enough people. Like even with the consciousness scale, right? Like Dawn's process, the whole goal of Dawn's process is to help humanity raise its consciousness from its 210 right now to 700. So the way that we're going to do that is we just need 114 people that are vibrating at a 700, and that will have a ripple effect on the entire earth, right? So each person has the effect of 70 million people. We only need 114, and so it's still a numbers game. And so just do your due diligence and bring the guests, the eyeballs to view the info. LK, how's it going, bro? Mr. LK, can hear you, bro.
Oh, hi, Sam. I was muted, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. No worries. How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah, you sound awesome. Uh, yeah, you're laughing, you're chuckling. My question is, as far as I know that program you're talking about with the AI trading bot, it sounds awesome. And I tell you, you know what my issue is with it. My
Mhm.
state does not allow that platform. Uh, was it Binance that you guys use?
Yeah, so there's Binance, Kraken, Bybit. I think for all three of those and where you're at is not available. So
Right.
this is something that Tui actually brought up, and I'll announce it here so that way you guys you can get your wheels turning. So Tui was like, "Hey, I got a couple of guys that want to use it, but they don't have the 1,000. What if I take the money and put it, like, for example, like 5 people at $200 a pop? That will equal out to 1,000. So you can find someone in maybe another state and you can bring them in. And you can be like, hey, let's put our money together. We can pool it together and then we can have the AI trade for us.
How would that work? I mean, individually. I mean, if we just pool, whose account would it be under? Would it be under one person's account or?
Exactly. So that's just the time being because we are going to be on onboarding Coinbase. So there shouldn't be any issues with that in the US. But for the time being, that could be a temporary solution. Like, let's say you have a buddy in another state, let's say Texas or whatever, and or maybe even another country, doesn't really matter. And if we trust them, just be like, hey, we can pool our money together. Maybe I could put 500, you could put 500, we have $1,000 total, and then we can have it trading. Once we see the results, um, then maybe we can have our separate accounts at some point once it's like good to go for the US. But that's a temporary solution that you could use.
Okay, how fast do you think the Coinbase solution going to come through?
That's a good question. I've been literally waiting as well because I have a lot of guys in the US. So I've been trying to figure out like what's up with that. I mean, I don't think it'll take much longer, maybe a couple more weeks at the max, but you just never know. These developers tell you a week, it turns into a month, it turns into 2 months.
Right,
So,
right.
you don't want to miss out on the gains that the AI is doing. So if it's something that you want to get started, of course, take advantage of it. And if you're just not ready to do that, I would still definitely still like for example, Tui's been building up the comp plan, right? Chris has been building up the comp plan. Like Vanessa just hit Inviter. All these people are building up the comp plan, starting to create some residual income. And then once it's ready, you can start to use these services and also at the same time use Don's program because I mean, that alone is absolutely priceless. But if it is about the AI, that's a solution for now.
Okay. Now another question. The crypto fund from I don't know if that's still available with Divinfi. Is that,
So
are
the
those
crypto
funds
fund,
still?
yeah, they're still trading. So Divinfi is not using it as because the thing is when it comes to having those kind of big funds, it becomes you're kind of crossing a gray line when it comes to the US laws. So we just didn't want to put the entire ecosystem at risk. So Josh is still trading it. So if you have money in there, you're good to go, but we're just not offering it as a service anymore.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I had money and I had like $1,200 into that fund when it first started. So I don't know what it's up to right now. There's no way that we can keep track of, what the gains have been up to this point. So
Yeah, exactly. That's also another reason why we didn't want to offer it because it was hard. We would have had to invest a minimum like another three, $400,000 just to create a system just for each person to track their individual funds. So it just wasn't ideal, especially the stage that we're at, to just have that going. And the thing is with Josh is a crypto fund. It would only be available until the bull run is ready. So it wasn't ideal to have as a long-term product. So you're good to go. Like if you want, you can withdraw your funds. We're not gonna have like a holding period or whatever. But I will say that right now, crypto is getting ready to pop off in Q3 and Q4. So I would just probably hold off and wait till it did whatever it's gonna do because any day now, I mean, whatever coins that Josh bought should be popping off.
right, right. Well, yeah, I was thinking it was going to go after the halving. Everything started to move up a little bit with Bitcoin. It went up over what was 60 something thousand. Uh, it was what was it about 64,000 that it went up to, and then it
Hmm.
kind of slowly kind of come down, and it's now floating around what 50 something. But yeah,
Yeah.
I believe in time it's gonna, the crypto is gonna pay well. But like I say, I have no idea where it's at right now. Is it 100%, 10% over what we put in, or Josh said he could get what 100% of in a year. Basically, he was going with a year to 18 months of had basically a whole period for that. So like
Yeah.
I say, I don't
So
know. I have no idea where it's at and how I could even look at the account and see where I'm at as far as what monies I have.
yeah, I mean, it's probably not up like a life-changing amount, I'll tell you that. It's definitely not life-changing at this point.
Right.
So what I would say is if you want to figure that out, we can definitely like figure out for you. But even just looking at the markets, like you said, I mean, it went up to 71,000. Now it's like a little bit under 60,000. So it's not like it went up much higher, but it will soon. I believe after the elections, it should be good to go. So, it just depends. I mean, if you want to withdraw it, we can help you with that. If it's just a curiosity, I mean, I'll tell you that it's probably not even worth the energy to even think about it at this point. It's not that much higher. I mean, I
Okay.
invested in it too. It's not like I doubt he did that much, right? Like the gains are probably not crazy high. Maybe
Right.
100% from December whenever we started the crypto fund. But it's not where we expected it to be at this point, which you never know with crypto, right? Like we all thought it was gonna pop off after the halving. But it's just one of those things where it just takes some time. So I think here by the end of the year we should see some nice projections, but yeah, we'll just
Okay.
have to revisit at that time.
Okay. Well, I'll keep keep us posted on Coinbase and where they're going to go. And as far as the other AI trading, I would love to get in on that because if it wasn't for my state, there's only three states I believe in the union. Washington's one of them. That's the one I'm in. I think New York and I believe Hawaii's the other one. But yeah, I
Mhm.
mean it's just weird. And maybe after the election we'll get a new attorney general that'll kind of change, kind of relax the standard. And that's all it takes. Somebody
Yeah,
that's a little more what is that kind of likes crypto. See the guy that we got now, the attorney general, he believes crypto is when we're using it, it's like money laundering. That's his belief, and so he doesn't like his people in our state to be messing around with it. It's crazy.
yeah, it's so interesting.
Yeah,
Hopefully, hopefully we get someone that's pro crypto because that will help the whole world.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. We're in for a new attorney general, so we hopefully he'd be a little more laxed with the way he thinks about cryptocurrencies. So anyway, I'm glad you could kind of clear me up on the crypto fund there, Sam, and we'll be looking forward to Coinbase getting in on this game.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, yeah, and if you want any help as far as like finding someone that you can invest in, like, you know, pull an account, we could figure something out. So just you can just message me if that's something that you want to do.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, tomorrow I have a flight at 10 p.m. Dubai time, so I'll probably be doing this call at the airport. And then the next one after that, which is at 5 a.m., I won't be able to be on. I'll see if Jamie can hop on or someone else can take over because I'm going to be in the air. So just so you know. And then, yeah, I mean, we'll continue on the regularly scheduled programming, but just remember, you know, and I really do believe this truly, like, it's selfish if we don't share this with people because there's someone out there that's looking for an answer. They've probably been praying and asking for something, and this could be the answer that they're waiting for. So share this with people. Even if you shared something in the past and they weren't open to it, you just never know. Maybe right now they're at a time in their life where they're ready for something. Maybe you're the answer to their prayer, right? So don't keep it to yourself. Share with people. The worst that could happen, right? The absolute worst is that they say no. That's the worst thing. It's like, and I remember I had a buddy, he's like, yeah, well, I already hit my list before. I'm like, when? He's like, 3 years ago. I'm like, bro, that was 3 years ago. If you went up to a girl and asked her on a date and she said no, what, are you just gonna stop? Or are you gonna change teams? like, come on, bro. Like, the worst that can happen is that they could say no, and that's fine. You're just planting seeds. You're a farmer. We're not out here trying to convince anyone. We're planting seeds, and maybe even if it's not a no, a yes right now, maybe it's yes later. And because you planted that seed, they're gonna be like, oh, all right, Barbara, I'm ready. All right, Angel, I'm ready. So just plant seeds. And we have some awesome tools for you, the couple of videos, and we'll update you as the new funnel gets ready because that's going to be a really powerful tool. You can take them from the 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 video to the funnel, which explains everything, and then they can actually go into the Facebook group. In the Facebook group, it will actually ask them who referred them, and then that way, if whenever they do join, they will be tied to you. And inside the Facebook group, we're gonna have like this whole system. It's gonna be ag tag message where they can actually view the entire presentation and then a follow up. It's gonna be really awesome. So we're working on some stuff, but you guys are the very beginning of this. So I'm honored to be here with you guys. Thank you for all that you do and sharing the vision with the world. And so I'll see you tomorrow, same time in about 23 hours. And don't forget to get your team on the call with Dawn here at 5 a.m. Dubai time. And let's go out there and be great.
Thanks so much, Sam.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out, brother.